Hey everybody, it's Angela with Ghost Hunting Beauties. Welcome back. Today we're talking about cryptids. What the hell is a cryptid? I don't know, but I'm going to find out today. We've got Amy and Michelle. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been asking me what cryptids are, and this is one of the things that is absolutely foreign to me, but maybe you guys can enlighten us, enlighten our viewers. Let's start with what the heck a cryptid even is.
So, typically I think the easiest way to explain that is start with the basic examples that people know, right? So you have Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and things like that.
So Bigfoot's a cryptid. Okay, so I do know it. So I know some cryptids.
The Yeti, what else? There's several common ones that you hear people talk about. Now, whether you believe in those specific ones or not is not the issue. But all of those things would be determined as cryptids. They're something that was never human. They're sometimes animalistic, sometimes something else. They're not demonic.
Right, just something different.
They're just a whole different thing of their own.
But they're animalistic. So we're thinking animals, maybe, even possibly alien, maybe?
Possibly, sometimes.
Yeah. I was like, how far does this go?
There is a very wide range of things there. Being Catholic and from that religious side of things, when I started doing this years ago, I was you have ghosts, you have demons, that's it.
Oh, right.
And
no Bigfoot.
That's definitely not accurate.
I didn't see him in the Bible. I wouldn't know what verse that was. The Bigfoot verse, I didn't see that. I may have missed it.
I had to experience all of that to believe all of that and go, okay, there's just a whole world of things that can't see that I didn't know about.
Absolutely. What about you? Do you have experience with this? What is your definition of a cryptid, Michelle?
Pretty much the same. It's just anything that's not considered, a demonic entity or something that was human. Critters. There's
critters.
Things called because there's animals. There's a thing called the rake. It started as like a creepypasta, but that's the name that they gave something that people see, and it's just humanoid, but not humanoid,
so like human-like features.
Yes.
Okay.
But big eyes, big teeth, they're not something you want to run into.
No. I never want to run into any rake. Is it rake?
Skinwalkers.
Oh, that's another one.
Native American stuff. There's a lot of Native American
but a skinwalker would be considered a cryptid. Even though, they were human at one time.
Right.
But there are some that weren't human at one time.
So generally they're not starting human.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
I think it's a little thing that's in between. The inhuman demon stuff, and then the human, and then in the middle of there's something that's kind of a little bit of both.
Okay.
Really,
right.
And they just do what they do, I guess.
Right. Because they say Bigfoot's out there like a human building things in the forest, certain types of, that he walks upright like a person. So that's why I say humanoid. So that makes a little bit more sense. So what is the list of the most common cryptids? We've got Bigfoot, Yeti. What else would be something that's maybe not so common, but you guys have come across?
Ooh, not common that we've come across. There's a lot of those.
I was going to say, if you came across Bigfoot, then I want to know.
If we came across Bigfoot, I would be excited.
I think I would run.
Bigfoot.
I think I would run. Without getting specific, you can tell them about your little friends from last week.
My dubers.
Oh, man.
That's a name that we gave them, by the way.
We don't know what they are.
So that's copyright, patent pending, just saying no one gets to take that. Don't listen to this and go label that or you'll be in trouble.
But they were little cryptids. They were like little creatures, I can't even describe it, like little cat-like, lizard-like little things. And there was about 20 of them.
Cat meets lizard.
And they weren't there to hurt anybody. They were just there because of the situation and stuff. And I wanted to take one home, but
Oh man, no. If it cat met a lizard, I'm like, no.
No, I wanted to take one home, and I was like, "Can I take one? Just let me take
They're
one."
like,
And
they're
then
like, no.
I get home, and I'm like, "Guys, he didn't let me keep a duber."
So it's a duber. A duber? A duber?
That's just what we call
Duber.
it.
How do you spell that? You have to spell that for the people listening. Spell duber. Is it like doob?
Doober.
Duber. There we go. No one take that. Copyright patent.
TM.
TM. Oh man.
We run across a lot of like little gremlin looking guys, like you think of the movie Gremlins. Things that look like that.
Yeah, we run across those, and then we run across things that are bigger. But yeah, we're not sure what they are, but we'll call them like gremlins or like what is one?
A lot of reptilian.
Yeah, a lot of reptilian things
or bird-like things.
Interesting.
So
some things that have look like crabs, like giant
or spiders,
crabs or spiders.
No one wants to come across crabs
or big frogs with teeth.
Yeah.
We
had that guy. Wow.
Yeah.
No one wants to come across crabs. That's all I'm saying.
That was my buddy.
Crabs are not good.
That dude was my buddy. He was in the attic. He was cool.
He's the one that had he's the one that had the dubers.
No, I was thinking of the
crabs
other
and
one
dubers
from a few months ago.
So where would somebody come across something like this? Like we know the typical ones, like Yeti's going to be somewhere cold.
Yeah.
You know where the Loch Ness Monster, is he one?
Yes.
Okay, so you know where to find the Loch Ness Monster.
Nessie.
You know where to find Bigfoot. Things that are a little abnormal, out of the ordinary, like gremlins. Where are those typically found?
I mean, we do mostly residential, so we've come across these things in houses.
They're probably running around all over the place, but we tend to find them in houses that have a strong inhuman there, and they're kind of drawn to them, or they're working for them, or they're just hanging around, them. So that's typically how we run into them.
Okay. So how do you know when you go there that they have a cryptid, or do they know before you get there?
That's where our mediums' abilities really come in.
I had dubers running around me before we went to the case.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, what are these things?
We were I think in the restaurant, right? When you
in the restaurant, but at home.
Yeah.
Remember, I was telling you like the day or two before that, I kept seeing things running around. I'm like, what is going on
prior
here?
to getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we showed up for the case, I was like, oh, this is where they are.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
They were nice though.
Yeah, they still didn't come home with
you can see them and they can't see them, or if they can see them and everyone sees them.
I don't have that ability personally. She can pick up on some of them. Raiden and Lynette can pick up on them.
So Michelle, you see them. Okay.
So yeah, it's not something I see. I'll sense something is different, maybe about that entity, but I don't have that visual to be able to put that together like these guys do. So
right. So how does someone know that they have them? Is it something that they absolutely don't know till you guys get there, or is it something that they can kind of sense, like this is happening, so it might be a cryptid?
Sometimes like we'll go and they'll say, I keep seeing these shadows and they're only this
out
tall,
the corner of my eyes,
and, this shape, and so they'll have kind of seen them, maybe just a glimpse or something, and they're like, that can't be a human. It's not a human shape or a human size,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then that's a good suspicion right there.
We go,
right.
Let's look into that.
These guys walk in and they spot them, and then, we go into our regular questioning, which gives us the evidence part of it to iron out, okay, what is this? What's actually going on?
But we usually have to get the information from other spirits because cryptids usually don't talk to you.
Right. That was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
perfect.
Especially the higher levels.
Yeah,
the lower
they don't
level
communicate.
ones sometimes will.
And I don't know if it's because they choose not to, or they just can't, language barrier.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't talk to us. So we got to get our information from the other spirits that are being cool and being like, is there little dubers running around here?
Right.
Yes. Okay.
and then they go question mark. They go dubers. And
what
then
is
you're
this
like
dubers you speak of?
Then you're like, copyright patent pending, don't use that.
TM.
So that was leading into my question, was that since they don't communicate with you, but you sense them, like the spirits, what do they usually describe them as? How do they describe it? Because I know you use flashlights for yes and no questions.
Very difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more difficult.
We kind of use their sensibilities. Like I said, so like if she sees one and she says, okay, he's 2 feet tall and he's got, a mouse tail, but he looks like a gremlin.
wow.
Just random example here.
Is that a duber?
You know,
No.
if
That
she,
is not a duber.
if she says something like that, then we might go in and when we're talking to the spirit, describe what she saw and say, is there something in the house that looks like this? You know, and then we can go through, okay, how many of them work through the numbers and kind of work it down to a science.
Narrowing it down, the process of elimination.
Yes,
there you go.
But without super gifted mediums, that would be very, very hard to verify or get any kind of a fine point on. I'm blessed to have that. So
do you think that this is where that came from with the gremlins? Like, I mean, because there's documented history with people who have seen things, hints to where anything that you've heard of a legend or a folklore usually stems from something.
Somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that that's where maybe mediums and people with different abilities were starting to see them at that point?
I think so.
I feel that's probably accurate. Yeah.
Because it always makes me think about that episode of the guy on the plane where he's looking out there and there's the gremlin on the wing. That is why I love the window seat. And I'm also scared of the window seat because I'm like, I just know one of these days I'm going to be one of these people that look out there and go, it's a gremlin. It's like, oh crap. I'm going to be like, that lady goes, and he doesn't even exist. That's going to be me, the lady on the plane. I can already see it having a panic attack. And everyone's like, what is she talking about? It makes me, when I saw that video. If I was on a plane
and someone did that, I'd be like, okay, she sees something. I'm leaving.
See, that's what I thought.
Get on the next flight.
That was my thoughts. And people were like, oh, she's crazy. Like, my first thought was, what is she seeing?
Yeah.
Like, she may see something that it could be anxiety, but sometimes people that have different abilities, the anxiety can trigger to where you can suddenly see things that other people are not able to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable. I'd be switching flights.
Yeah,
I'd be like, nope, done.
I think they landed.
I'd probably be thinking she was crazy first. I'd be looking
yeah, but would you want to chance it though? I'd be
I'm like, we're not chancing this. I'm like, I'm with you, lady. Let's go.
Yeah.
Solidarity. It's like I saw something on the wing. Oh shit.
Nope.
No, if it was one of my people and I knew they were verified, I'd be like, okay, we're getting off this plane.
Right.
But some random stranger.
You're like, see, she said, let's go.
Next flight.
Right. Exactly. So we've got gremlins, we've got Bigfoot, we've got Yetis, we've got the things that are unknown, dubers.
Dubers.
With the patent penny.
TM.
And every time we're going to have to put that little disclaimer there. It's like, don't steal this. So what is one of the most common ones that you do see? Something that's identifiable that you find on cases?
The gremlins are quite common for us.
They're not really called gremlins. That's just what we call them.
Yeah, that's what we call
what else to call them.
Right.
So
there's a lot of things we've kind of made up our own term amongst the team, so that when somebody says it, we're like, oh, those guys again. You know, we have a lot of the little spider-looking.
Yeah, spider crabby things.
We've run across a lot of those little things.
And what do they do when they're like? What do they do when they're there? Do they produce anything? Are they laying eggs? Or are they
they're
like
just there
attacking
because they're
people?
feeding off energy and they're feeding off, whatever strong entity is there. Because, like I said, they're usually not by themselves. If you see the little things there's usually a much stronger inhuman there because
well, that's scary.
So I think they're just there because they're feeding off of the energy of what this powerful inhuman is producing.
Well, it's people think that's scary and it sounds it on the face of it, but often it's not. A lot of these are like Inhumans or Native American land guardians or things like that.
Yeah, some don't give a crap about us. Like, they're very indifferent.
Bob.
They're just there. Huh?
Bob.
Yes, good old Bob.
Oh God! Wait a minute! You got to tell me about Bob. You guys can't come in and talk about Bob, and I don't know what about Bob. So we got to hear about Bob. Come on. Is he a duber, gremlin, Yeti?
He's a big blob.
Yeah, he's kind of a big gelatinous blob looking thing, as it
Bob
was
the Blob.
And he was
patent pending.
We found him near a house. He did not want to be bothered. He did not want to help. He was not posing any kind of a problem. No. He was just there. And we kind of helped him relocate to a more favorable scenario for him.
How do you relocate him?
In a swamp where he wanted to be.
There you go.
And, so, but he was a team favorite. I don't know why. He didn't particularly care for us, but.
No, I don't think he didn't give a crap about people in general. Like
he's Bob the Blob.
There.
Yeah.
He was just there doing his thing.
Interesting.
Which wasn't much.
It used to be, and I mean, this stuff is weird.
Yeah.
I expect people watching this right now are going,
Right.
okay, yeah, you're off the deep end.
People listening are going to be like, what the heck?
I would think that. I mean, there was a time when, somebody would say something to me and I'd be like, yeah, sure there is.
Right.
You have to experience those kind of things
Exactly.
to get it. There's no other way. If you haven't experienced it, you're not going to get it.
That's the way I see a lot of that.
But it really is one of those very weird things. And it's very hard to explain to clients when we find this stuff.
Oh, yes, it's always the worst.
I get to sit down and I have to do...
And by the way, Bob the Blob.
Right.
And they're like, all right.
Very carefully.
Yeah. And it's hard, especially, in America, most people are Christian, and a lot of people think like I initially did. You have spirits, and then some people believe in demons. Some people don't even believe in that. So if you have that core belief of there are spirits and there are demons, as soon as I say inhuman, people go, you can see the tenseness. And it's like, no, not that.
That's my initial reaction
but it's something else. It's not that.
Right.
So,
you say gremlin and I start going, ugh.
When we find an inhuman in a house, usually I'm happy because it's like, oh, maybe we'll have some help here.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to keep it safe and they're guarding the land or something and will help us get out whatever the actual problem is, So that's usually a good thing to me versus coming in and going, oh, we got a demonic. That's never a good thing.
Right.
So
you'd rather have a gremlin than a demonic.
Oh,
any day. So my next question leading into that is, so we know kind of what they are. I mean, it's still iffy depending on, I guess, which cryptid we're talking about. So the next question I'm going to lead into is, where do they come from then? So how is a cryptid getting over here? Were they here first and we just came here? Are they mutated? Like where would a cryptid come from?
So, a lot of them are like nature type spirits. Like I said, the Native American thing accounts for some of it. Some of it is brought about, witchcraft, voodoo, people playing with things, spirits being warped over time where, like she said, they were once human, but now there's something else.
So humanoid.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, just depending on the individual case as to where they came from. And often that's a question for us when we run across a new one. Like, okay, where did you come from?
I'd be like, where the hell did the spider come from? I was like, what is this? I was like, what do you mean it's a spider? I'm getting the fly swatter. And you're like, and stop.
Raid won't work. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not dang.
Spiritual, not physical.
Right. It's like raid doesn't work. I don't know what to do if raid doesn't work. So we've got that, and we go into skinwalkers. That's another one. I get a lot of people asking me, do I believe in skinwalkers? Kind of like with cryptids, I tell them I don't have enough information. It's kind of like, this is how I see the whole things, especially for skeptics. I love skeptics because I want people to, I don't want anyone to just believe anything. I want people to have experiences, especially if cryptids are not something bad. I know that people have asked me about skinwalkers, though. Skinwalkers, a little bit different. Yeah. So I've told them I'm indifferent because I've seen videos to where people have said this is a skinwalker, but I don't know the definition of what that is. So that is also a cryptid, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about what y'all know about the skinwalkers.
So it's a Native American thing. And it's often, it was like a medicine man, somebody like that from the tribe that had a function once they passed into the spiritual plane from the physical plane. They have a job to do. They're there in their mind, spiritual mind.
There we go. Spiritual mind being.
Doing a job, a function that they were set to do. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Where it becomes problematic is when these things run across humans and the humans don't understand, and it maybe doesn't understand them. And then you have a conflict, and now people are terrified because this spirit is angry and it's upset with them and they don't know why. And there's no, there's a language barrier. They can't see it most of the time. So it's a very complex situation.
You don't want to run into a skinwalker.
So are they generally negative? They lean a little more negative?
Yes.
Okay. So why are they more negative? Because of the communication issues?
No, I think just because basically they're the medicine man, shaman.
Mm-hmm.
They want more power. They're getting power, and they're very aggressive towards the living.
Okay.
Just,
so they're aggressive. So you don't want to come across skinwalkers.
There's
okay.
You don't want to come across
gremlins,
skinwalkers.
yes. Dooblers, yes.
Yeah, and just so you know, some believe that the more you say the name skinwalker.
So I'm not saying it for the rest of the entire podcast. I'm just saying, that we don't speak
put a disclaimer, like we're going to say skinwalker a lot.
As we have to knock on wood, how does this work?
We don't believe in Candyman and Bloody Mary, though.
No, but there's a belief that the more you say it, the more you attract them to you.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to have a whole podcast studio of skinwalkers and doobers, and I don't even know what to do with any of them. So that'll have to lead to my...
Some people actually, to avoid that, some people call them flesh pedestrians.
Flesh pedestrians. I don't know why that sounds like a sex toy. Like that's the first thing that popped into my mind is flesh pedestrians. That just...
I didn't know it was going to be that kind of podcast.
So,
like this is a whole different podcast now. Doobers and flesh pedestrians. Look out, everybody.
Put the kids to bed.
Kids go night-night. It's time to go to sleep. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast anyway.
Ghost Hunting Beauties after hours.
Flesh. I
brought Michelle in, and this is what happens.
This is what happens when Michelle shows up.
What happens when you have me on the podcast. It gets weird, and I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all the flesh pedestrians. Not to come into my house ever again. And knock on wood. Wait, what am I supposed to do? So that'll be my next question. If the pedestrians of the flesh arrive, how do you get rid of them? Is this only a professional thing, or can someone in their home set boundaries like what we talked about before?
You can try to set boundaries. You can do the whole salt the windows and the windowsills and stuff like that to try to keep them out. But there isn't much you can do besides not get lured out there. Right. So,
It usually takes a professional touch.
Yeah.
Right. Because almost everything I've seen takes.
Yeah, because it is a stronger, deeper kind of spiritual stuff, I don't want to say magic, but I mean.
It borders on it, yeah.
Magical.
So, yeah, it would have to be done by a professional. And that's still can be really tricky.
It can be, yeah.
Because it's not something we these days delve into, so it's
It sounds like it's pretty big. Definitely. Is this something that you guys are able to handle, or
we've handled similar? Yeah.
Oh, so if you have a skinwalker story, flesh pedestrian story, flesh pedestrian story, like can you share one of those with us when you've come across? Because me not knowing anything, the unknown is more terrifying than the known. So I think this helps a lot of people. Still something to be feared, but at least having that information. Mm-hmm. So tell me about these creatures.
So we had a case a couple of years back now in Cedar Hill, Texas. It's south of Dallas.
Okay.
And they had a spirit that they were aware of, human spirit, that they felt was like accounting for all of the trouble. But then they kept saying, well, we think maybe it's a demon because, we'll see it in this capacity, but then we'll see something that looks kind of not human, almost like part human, part coyote or wolf or something.
And shapeshifters.
Oh, see? So they're shapeshifters. Yes. That's one thing I did not know.
Yeah,
so
you can see them as a humanoid kind of thing. They can shapeshift into like coyotes. Sometimes people will see them as a humanoid body, but it will have like antlers and like a deer skull.
Ooh, and I've seen a lot of things in that and the scary movies that'll have the skull and the antlers. Is that where that comes from?
Yep. Some of it's the satanic reference that they're playing off to.
Oh, okay.
They love to do that in the movies.
Right, definitely.
They're shapeshifters, so they do change into animals.
Have y'all seen the Skinwalker Ranch? Is there any truth to that? Or
I want to go there.
I know, because I saw parts of it, and it's one of those that, especially here with Ghost Hunting Beauties, we like to, we don't dismiss a lot of things, but when we can, we want to disprove things or we want to debunk things. Mm-hmm. It's really important to have all of the facts. So I can't speak on anything because I don't have any experience with skinwalkers, but from what your experience is versus the shows on TV like Skinwalker Ranch, what are some of the myths versus realities on that?
I'm letting you tackle that.
She's like, do I have to?
I haven't seen the show, so I'm not sure what they...
Oh, okay.
But
I haven't watched the show.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show. But I mean, I've researched the ranch because I want to go there.
Oh man, you want to go there?
I want to
You
go
can't
there.
take them home, Michelle.
No.
They're not dupers.
They may have dupers there, though.
She tries to take everything.
I
home.
really do. I'm the
She's
worst.
trying to take them home. She's got a crowded house. Before you walk in, you're like, it's too many people, and it's empty.
Dogs, cats, and
Dubers.
spiritual things.
Lots
man.
of dubers.
Man.
I don't know. No, but I want to go there just really just to see.
To experience.
Yeah, to see if it's everything that they chalk it up to be, you know? 'Cause
That's what I'd like to see too.
It's supposed to be a lot of them out there. It's like,
Really?
I want to know.
So you think they'll look like humans when they present themselves, or you think they're going to present themselves like a fox and then a human? Like, what do these skinwalkers do?
A lot of people will see them as animal form for the most part.
Okay.
You know, but they, like I said, they do present themselves as a humanoid, and they have been known to try to lure. That's why I say you to protect yourself. Like, don't fall for the lures because they mock us.
Ooh.
They will sound like somebody you know.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah,
you're like
to
grandma?
try to get you to go out to where they are so they can do whatever it is they do to you.
So the big bad wolf was like the skinwalker. He's like, ha ha. I was like, I look
Yes.
like grandma now with my little bonnet. Just got a little fur going on.
But yeah, but they're seen as coyotes a lot.
That's what I've heard. It's a lot of animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard so much, but it's one of those that you guys have, I mean, as you've told me, boots on the ground experience.
Yeah.
So that's what people want to hear from, not from somebody that's just, textbook learning is great. Like me, I'm the textbook learner. I haven't had experience with this yet. Me, like I need to know the warning signs. Like how am I going to know if I'm going out to the woods and it's a skinwalker luring me out there and not...
I'm just using the woods as an example because it doesn't have to be in the woods.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, I was in the ghetto of Houston. Sorry, Houston.
I was gonna say, wait, which one? We have a lot of them.
I know, but I'm not gonna call them out. But and I was in a tow truck with one of my coworkers, and we actually had a skinwalker run across the street in front of us.
Oh, was he naked?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what the only thing that I've heard is like you see naked people streaking across because they keep changing form. Yep. So if they go from animal to human, they're not, the fox is not walking around in a blazer. So, by the time he changes, he's bucket naked running across there.
And white. They're white. They're not,
like white, like Caucasian white, or just like
not,
pale,
they're like the color white, like like gray white skin. Because
I thought you meant it's like only skinwalkers are only Caucasian. I was like, dang,
yes, that's it. That's it.
What the heck? Really?
They have
that's a whole other
diversity.
podcast. Why are they being so specific?
And
they're like,
sometimes they're even like as they're kind of phasing, if you will, seen as like Native Americans, where they still have a little bit of that human-esque from their native form into like an animal too. So
that's where more they originated from was from the Native American shamans. And so then they're presenting themselves as humans in their current form.
It's kind of like they're being warped over time into something else.
Freaky.
It's
because I've seen that.
They can also change at will, though.
Yeah.
Are those the ones
suits their needs at the time?
Yeah. Are those the ones that now I've heard rumors and legends, of course, like I said, textbook learning of in the mountains, babies crying to lure people out is that skinwalkers.
Yes.
Because when we filmed at Demon's Road, that is what I heard was a baby crying. So that's why it's kind of good to educate.
You to go out there. Like
I was not about
you
to
be
leave that.
separated from your group.
But the thing is too, and I do want to add that disclaimer: regular spirits can mock.
Yeah, they can also do
that,
yeah.
And so can demonic. So that's
not
kind
always
of
a
an
skin
across
mark.
the board thing.
Okay. Because that's what I was making sure. Because it was really, whenever I heard it, like, because I was terrified. Because we were doing the Estes method with Lynette. And she said, baby. And then I hear a baby crying. And then everyone's kind of looking at me. And they're like, everyone hears something. But I'm hearing like loud, very clear. So I'm wondering if that has to do with mediumship or anything to where I'm tuning in heavy. Because it's almost like taking the radio station and turning it way up and hearing pitches that other people can't hear. That's what it felt like. I'm like, I'm not about to go in the woods for a baby crying. That baby's on its own. Bye.
Sorry, baby.
Bye, baby. Bye, baby. I'm sorry. Sorry. I hope you stop crying soon. I was like, no, I'm done.
Gotta use your judgment.
Yes, definitely. Trust your instincts. That's what I would say when you see these horror movies. I'm like, do they even have a survival instinct? It's like, if they did, would there even be a movie? Because, I mean, my movie would end quickly. It's like, there was a noise outside. It's like, and Angela went in and closed the door and locked it and said, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Not today.
Not today. Oh, man. So you said professionally is what needs to happen, is coming in to remove it, not trying to do this on your own since they're tricksters.
Right.
Definitely understand that. So let's talk about, what are some other cryptids? Maybe something you've come across as well, or heard someone come across.
Oh, God,
we've covered some of these big ones because, I mean, what are some that goes back with legends? Because we know we've got Bigfoot, we know we've got these other ones.
But what are favorite?
Oh, you have a favorite? I thought Dubers were your favorite.
No, I was saying that sarcastically. She knows where I'm about to go.
Oh, but not favorite, but favorite. Oh,
I'm sorry. No, another common one that we kind of run across.
The face. I know listeners can't see Michelle's face right now, but it is a face that is of disgust and going, I'm going to kill you later.
I'm going for this, Amy.
It's like, you shall pay, Amy.
It's common though. I gotta
go for it. What's another common?
So different terms. Some people call them fairies. Some people call them pixies.
The fae.
The fae. There we go. Now, why don't you like fairies? Aren't they adorable? Like, I'm waiting for her to like reach across. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Can I swear? Can I cuss in here?
I already did.
Okay. You don't fuck with fairies.
That needs to be the tagline.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the fae. You don't. They're nasty little things.
There you go. Are they always small, or can they be bigger?
They're usually smaller, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had all
they're
bad
powerful,
experiences,
and they don't really like us. Like, I don't understand. There's some people that go and feed them and make them houses, and I'm like, what are you doing?
They make them houses, like birdhouses.
Like, why? You can actually like Google that.
Yeah, like why would you invite those little things in? Because the thing is that they're tricksters, and you feed them, and then when you stop giving them their honey or whatever, they screw up your life.
Well, that's
like. Just stay away. Don't fuck with the fae.
Man, Tinkerbell. I had Tinkerbell all wrong before this. I thought Tinkerbell was. I don't know. She did get a little snippy.
Yeah.
Even Julia Roberts, when she was playing her, she was kind of done. She was kind of done with the whole thing. So I get it. Because I've had friends of mine who've talked about that, and it's been more of in a lighter spirit. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, are they being tricked?
I think there's probably more. There's a variety, but in general,
it's just not your favorite.
It's not my favorite thing. Like,
I feel like the fairy has done you wrong.
And I don't like dolls.
When I bring her into a case and the fae thing comes up, I get that look like, you did not tell me.
Yeah, you did not tell me before.
Then she's got rage. She's like, I'm done.
No, I just get that look. I'm like, sorry.
Oh man,
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
We've had a few though. Past couple of years, we've had quite a few.
Where do we usually hear from fairies from? A lot of these we hear from over in Europe, overseas, different countries.
Right now, they're big in like, I think they originated, in Ireland.
In Ireland, I think that's where Ireland.
The Italians actually had a lot of that too.
I think it started in Ireland though. Like most of the fairy stuff is Irish.
And there's a lot of occult and witchcraft stuff too, where that lends into. Okay. So that, but we're actually presently working a case in Huntsville that involves this.
Oh wow! So, I have to say, without giving away trade secrets or anything proprietary, is tell me and walk me through a little bit of. There's fairies. What do we do? Are they causing trouble?
So, usually, again, kind of like with the gremlins and the other ones where we were our little Dubers trademark,
patent pending.
There's usually something else inhuman or a bigger picture going on if they're involved. Every case that we've had that I can think of that involved them was a huge case where we had tons of things where it was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Different things.
Yeah. Those are always like the big cases where there's tons of different kinds of spirits. There's tons of things going on.
A lot of different energies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that's an energy thing. Again, they're drawn to it. And you know.
So is there anything that you guys have seen besides, since you haven't seen the Skinwalker Ranch or anything else, is there any myths about cryptids that people need to know about that are just untrue, that are one of those things people say, oh, this happens with this, just like with fairies, they're like, oh, they're all magical and wonderful, and you're like, that's untrue. Is there anything else, any other myths that we can kind of debunk here with some of the cryptids?
I don't know that I can really say that. The problem with them, if it's a problem, but is that they're not well known. Mm-hmm. There are so many that even we don't know of. We're still walking into houses here and they're going, what is that? We've never seen that.
It's hard because they don't communicate. So the ones that we do run into, it's not like we can ask them questions.
Right.
Why are you here? Where did you come from? How long have you been here?
And they're like,
because they don't communicate with us. So it's everything we're getting, from our cases is secondhand information from what the other spirits are telling us about these, these little guys or the big guys, it's because they don't communicate. So that makes it hard really to be like, yes, this kind, has been here for this long and it comes from over here, this dimension or whatever.
Right.
And because they don't communicate. So,
right. Well, that makes sense.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
So definitely call the professionals. Like I always say, to give you guys a call. They can even email you, talk to you on Facebook. I know that you're very responsive with people. It's one of those, it's like, if you feel you have cryptids, I say reach out to these ladies, but make sure that this is something legit. Please don't waste their time. Please don't message them at 2 a.m. It's like, don't wake them up. Let them get some rest. They are probably already out on a case because these ladies are working hard with the entire SPI crew. It's not just the ladies. They've got their whole fam, their whole crew putting in time. So I really appreciate this because this has really enlightened me and opened me up to, it's bigger than I thought. I had no clue that Bigfoot really and Yeti and all these other things were in there. I've probably mentioned them 50 times along here. It's one of those, my husband and I argue. I go, there is no Bigfoot. And he says, there's evidence. And then we watch the show where it's like, Billy Bob is like, it's like, I found him yesterday. We had coffee.
Can I say the name of another show? I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
Go ahead.
So there's a show, a lot of the people that are into this probably may have seen it, called Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Oh, neat.
And they have a lot of people like us that have been doing it for years and years, just panel of experts, and they play these random videos that people send in. And they have experts, people like Brian Kano and so forth, who will go through and talk about what they're seeing and what's going on and kind of give their impression or their take on it.
That's interesting.
But they featured over, I don't know how many seasons they've had now, over several seasons, several little videos of things that were falling under the cryptid umbrella that looked authentic.
Interesting.
So, that would be a place if you're interested in looking at more of that, maybe seeing.
I'd like to check that out myself.
Go through some of those. You might see something and go, what the heck is that? And that's kind of how it is for these guys when they see one.
Mm-hmm. So I think on our Ghost Hunting Beauties Facebook channel, I shared a video where they were looking at two gentlemen and pretending to take a picture, and they were actually videoing, and something that was almost shapeless and formless but looked humanoid had grabbed someone and dragged them off. So that's why all of this stuff, someone asked me, they go, so what do you think? I said, I don't know, because I'm not an expert. I don't have years of boots on the ground being immersed and educating myself on that particularly. It's like, I just know that I have my gifts as a medium. It's like, but I haven't seen all this stuff yet. I had different kinds of experiences growing up. So if I start seeing that, for sure, like you said, you were a huge skeptic. You're a minister. So you were like, nope, until you saw it yourself.
It took me years to come around to that. We would go in and I don't really do it so much now. But I'd say up until even 2 or 3 years ago, we'd walk in and they'd tell me something. And I go, no, just no.
I'm serious. Really? I see a little gremlin over there.
And then, they would see it and they'd back each other up. And then, sure enough, spirit would come in and say, oh, yeah,
wow.
Okay, then.
See, you're fine. You're like, I'm outvoted. Right.
I gave in. I accepted.
So for all the skeptics listening, we appreciate, we know this one's a little bit of a controversial topic. It's one of those that seeing is believing, but we have had so many people for centuries talking about these things. Like I said, back to the Native American culture, speaking about things that we are just now learning about, because these things are hard until you see it. There's people who've seen aliens and people who may never believe in aliens. And it's one of those that you just have to experience. So we appreciate all feedback. Like I said, if you guys suspect that you have any type of cryptid, is it like an infestation? Is that what we call it, or no?
That's more of a demonic thing.
Okay, so that's different. So cryptid... What would be visitors. A good term for it? Cryptid visitors. There we go. If you have cryptid visitors, reach out to Spring Paranormal Investigations and they will get back with you. But like I said, don't bother them at 2 a.m. They're not getting back to you till later. They're busy. They're busy. So we appreciate you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Especially with all of your knowledge, we really appreciate that. So for everybody, don't forget, follow their page, like their page. They're on Facebook. They're pretty much what you said, everywhere but Threads yet.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Very
soon. Follow the Ghost Hunting Beauties. Follow our podcast, our Spotify. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere you can think. Follow us. And until next time, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Follow our channels. We are Ghost Hunting Beauties.